So welcome everyone. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. Today is January 30th, 2026. A big warm welcome to you if this is your first time joining me. If you're coming back, a big welcome back to you. Thank you so much for deciding to be part of the show and making this part of your daily life. Really do appreciate that. Of course, welcome back to those that have found this content amazing. And don't forget to check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations, short form, long form. Um, that's reels, that's articles, and so much more. So, you know how we do this, guys. On Friday, that's when we wrap up our show for the week. And so, what happens is, we start out on Saturday with a brand new master topic, and then we basically move from there to the entire week. And then we end up on a Friday, which is what today is. And we have 7 days, but our days start on a Saturday. That's the only real difference with us. So if you are thirsty, feel free to get yourself some RO water, another beverage, candy, snack, healthy or not. That's totally up to you guys. Without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and kick this show off. Again, it is my privilege and pleasure to be with all of you guys here tonight. Thank you so much for deciding to join me. And again, a very big, warm welcome to everyone. Welcome back once again to Inspirations for Your Life. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer. I'm a marketing specialist, a video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, and a passionate lifelong learner. This is your daily space, guys, to reset your mindset, strengthen your direction, and build a life that actually feels aligned. Today's episode is about a whole person glow up, not hype, not surface level change. This is about evolving your mind, your community, and your true purpose here together. So growing actually lasts and doesn't become something superficial or something you just do to, let's say, get a feeling for one day. That's not what growing's about. Number one, guys, your glow up isn't real if it's only physical. All right. Real transformation shows up in how you think, who you keep close, and how you live when no one is watching. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Yeah, we've talked about the word intention before, and I think that's a very important thing when we start with the word, intentional, right? Intentional is something that I think a lot of people don't really understand. And intentional means that you can do some pretty amazing stuff. All right. So what does that mean in terms of, life and stuff like that? Intentional means that you can do things that are going to make huge, huge differences in life. I mean, huge differences in life. That's a very important thing to understand. Um, you know, to have huge differences in life. And when we think about huge differences, we can think about the fact that we do things with a purpose, with an intention to help ourselves and to help others. All right. Number two, mindset glow up begins with how you talk to yourself on the hard days. Everyone can talk to themselves great on those good days, right? But what about the hard days, the challenging days? The voice in your head becomes the tone of your life. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. You see, it's what we tell ourselves that actually affects how we move forward in our life. All right. That's a very, very important thing. I think a lot of people miss it because they don't understand how this, currently works. And I want to tell you guys that this is something that can really change who you are, change your life, and do some amazing stuff for you guys. All right. So, intentional. All right. And growth. They're important. Intentional living. Number three, guys, community glow up shows in who stays when life breaks. not who claps when things are going good, because those aren't really your true friends. Those aren't really your supporters. Those are people that are just kind of opportunists. Not nice to say, but that's what they are. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 4, guys, purpose glow up is why you rise in the morning, not how you look doing it. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. And again, there's that intentional living again, because that's what we're about. We're about intentional living. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people, like, they miss that whole concept about what intentional living, is about. And I want to tell you that it's something a lot of people, like, they don't really get it. Okay, they don't really understand what it means. Um, that's the truth. That's really, really the truth. And if you can understand that, then maybe you'll say to me, "Oh, John, wait a minute. This makes a lot of sense. This does make sense. This is the way I should be doing this." Okay. So think about that for just a moment for me, okay? And think about how you make changes in your life. All right. Think about that for just a quick second. And think about how that's propelled you forward. Number 5, life rebuilds best in layers. Your inner world, your relationships, and your mission. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. There's that intentional living again, isn't it? Intentional living is so very, very popular. Okay. It is really, really, really popular. And I think that's something that a lot of people, again, misalign. Number 6, healing feels calmer than distraction. Growth doesn't always feel exciting. It often feels stable. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 7, guys, Friday self audits, or on a Friday, no pun intended there. It helps you check alignment before life drifts you off course. You could get off course because of stress. You could get off course because of misinformation. You could get off course because, well, lots of reasons, because of other people, but we can't blame them. We have to take responsibility for our own life. And this is where the growth compounds, as I said, through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 8, guys, weekly check ins alone or with someone you trust create consistency. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. There's that intentional living again. You think that's important? Absolutely, guys. It is very, very important. All right. When we think about that concept, I think a lot of people say to me, John, like, how are we going to do something? How are we going to be able to move forward? And I think that's an interesting thing, right? About what it's going to mean, or what it's going to do for you. I think those are important things. All right. And by important things, I mean that they can really change who you are in life. All right. They can give you that motivation that is maybe keeping you from something. Number 9, guys, you don't need a new year, even though we always set our goals on New Year. You need a new pattern repeated with intention. New Year is a great time to do it. It's a good hype. And I always set goals then, and intentions, but you can do it any time. This is where growth compounds, as I said, through consistency, reflection, and again, intentional living. Number 10, guys, the version of you from 5 years ago would be proud you didn't quit, that you're still here today. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. There's that intentional living, isn't it? Number 11, growth will confuse people who only knew your survival mode. This is where growth compounds again through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. See how that's important? Very important. Number 12, guys, small habits quietly reshape your life faster than dramatic promises. This is where it compounds again, and I'm going to say it again, consistency, reflection, and intentional living. So picking one of these things and sticking with it is pretty cool. It's something that I think a lot of people miss because they get stuck on this boat where it's like, "Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna say something?" Right? I think that's a very, important thing. Number 13, guys, which I'll get to here in just a second, is very, very important too. And that talks about when you take your life seriously, your behavior naturally changes. Your behavior naturally changes. That's that's pretty important, guys. This again is where the growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. You think that's important, guys? You better believe it. Number 14. Weekends aren't just for escaping your life. They're for upgrading it. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. I keep saying that over and over again. I hope it's going to hit home. Number 15, your social life should reflect your values, not just your availability. And again, it's where your growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Because these subtle changes in our life make a big difference. Um, and they can help us move from where we are to where we want to be. Number 16, guys. One honest question can reset your entire week. And again, this is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 17, guys, growth changes what you're available for. And that's healthy. You might outgrow a person, you might outgrow a situation, and you can move on. And again, it's where, yes, growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Are you getting the point? Yes, I hope you are. Number 18, alignment doesn't cost money, it costs honesty. And again, it's where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 19, guys, momentum unlocks when you admit what's no longer working. And again, you get the point. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 20, guys, some people see your future, others only see your past. And I think the ones that were with you because of something you did or could do for them, that's an opportunist. That's somebody who's really trying to manipulate you. Not nice to say. And again, if we focus on this is where our growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 21, guys, purpose changes your energy before it changes your results. And this is where compounds of growth through consistency, reflection, and intentional living start to sprout. Number 22, guys, discipline is often hidden behind what looks like confidence. And when we understand that, we can actually grow. We can actually exceed our expectations. I'm going to share something with you quickly. I was doing a meditation today, and it was funny because the first time I did this one meditation I hadn't done before, I got to see an epiphany in my eyes. And what was being said, I was actually seeing in full, vivid, animated color. And I didn't even try. So when things come into your consciousness and you can just feel and see them, that's when they're coming. When you put a lot of effort on them, well, that's when they're not working. Okay. And again, this is where growth compounds, ladies and gentlemen, through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. And so thinking about intentional living for a moment means that we as people choose what we do because we want to do it, not because somebody else has said to do it. That's a very, very important thing. And I think that's an important thing to know because that's important for us, guys. Very, very important with us because that has the key to us. Okay, it has the key of where we're going. And that key is telling us things that maybe we didn't know about. Okay. The key is getting us to look at the picture from a different angle. And I like to use the example, guys, perspective. Perspective. Change your perspective. I don't want to tell you it's good or it's bad. It's different. Sometimes it's good. I always think it's good to look at things from a different angle, right? And when we do that and we get the information from one angle and another angle, we can be like, oh, wait a minute. Now I see it's not really flat, or now I see it's not really round, or it's not square, or it's not triangle. You get my point, don't you? Number 23, guys, reset rituals, space, phone, and mind. And this will build stability in your life. I've talked to some people like, oh my gosh, if I don't have my cell phone, it's like I'm just gonna like I can't live. Take a chill pill, right? Take a chill pill. Could you live one day without your cell phone? Yes. The most important thing that I probably would miss is checking in on my parents because I call them every morning, usually every evening. And so that would be the part that would be hard. I publish social media every day. So do I need my cell phone to do that? No, I can use the computer. But my point is, some people become so inundated with their phones that they don't even know what day it is. Well, I'm being facetious there, but they don't even know like that the grass is green. You get my point? And again, this is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. It almost reminds me like it's a responsorial song. Like if you go into church and then it's like they say the thing, usually they say, Lord, hear our prayer. And so now it's like, and we said all these things, and it's like, and where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. And this is where growth, you get my point, right? I just thought that was kind of a little comical there. 24, emotional stability is a quiet form of luxury. This is where growth compounds through consistency and intentional living. Yeah, everybody, yeah. And so, are you getting my point that all of these things that we're talking about and continue to talk about tonight are markers that can actually change who you are in life because they help us understand that this is where growth, intention, reflection, intentional living are taking place. Number 25, guys, healing isn't a weakness. Healing is the new flex. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. Number 26, you can be light for others without burning yourself out. Maybe you think you have to burn yourself out. You do not have to do that. And again, this is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. If you keep believing you don't have to burn yourself out, well, then you won't. But if you do, then you're going to burn out. I mean, that's just a simple way to say that. Number 27, alignment feels peaceful, not chaotic. And I was having this meditation just the other day, and it was in the car, and I was doing it just before the library was open. I was in my car maybe a little earlier before the library opened. And it was amazing to me that I was just sitting there. And bam, it was like I was just envisioning all this stuff so clearly, so easily, without any strong effort. And I think that says something when we can tune into a concept, a frequency, that means something pretty important. So important that I think it can get us to change who we are as a person. It can get us to change our direction. It can get us to change our pathway. It can get us to be a person that needs to take the feedback he or she is getting, apply that, and make those changes in their life. Because, see, when we operate like a compass and we take all this in, I said to you that when we can measure something, we could change anything we can measure. But if we can't measure it, how do we change it? How do we know what's wrong? How do we know what's working? Number 27, guys. As I said, alignment feels peaceful, not chaotic. And this is where growth compounds, ladies and gentlemen, through consistency, reflection, and intentional living, just like a responsorial song. Number 28, guys. Clarity replaces chaos when your priorities are honest. Clarity replaces chaos when your priorities are honest. Clarity replaces chaos when your priorities are honest. So when you're honest, clarity does help you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where everyone, right hand raised, this is where growth compounds through consistency and intentional living. And if you're wondering why I know how to do that so well, so I'm a lector at my church, and I'm like, it's like, and a responsorial, we put our hand up. So it reminds me of that, how I did this today, because this point about intentional living is one that many people don't think they have potential to do. Okay. That's very, very important to understand. And when we start to realize these nuances in life, when we start to realize there's a difference, change will start to filter into our life. Now, don't do it one day and say, oh my gosh, there was no change. You need to do this consistently. Number 29, guys. One small commitment tonight can reshape tomorrow. Just one small commitment. It might be going to bed a little bit earlier. It might be reading a book. It might be whatever it is. That one small commitment can make a huge difference in your life. And you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to raise my hand and say, and everyone, this is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. That's right. We have one more. You're not late, guys. You're in the middle of becoming who you are. And you know what I'm going to say. This is where, yes, ladies and gentlemen, growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. One more time. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. And I think sometimes we're afraid to change because we don't think maybe we'll know it. And we know it's going to be different. And different doesn't mean bad. Different doesn't always mean hard. Different means uncomfortable. And I've said to you that success embraces those that truly welcome uncomfortability. That's where growth lies. That's where growth lies. And ladies and gentlemen, one more time, this is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. This is where growth compounds through consistency, reflection, and intentional living. So as I get ready to close this evening, I want you to remember something. A real glow up isn't loud, guys. It's not about the person who stands on their chair and says, ladies and gentlemen. No. Somebody who gets up on their chair or uses a megaphone, maybe they're going to get attention because of the noise and they broke the barrier. But I can tell you something. People are not going to stay tuned in if they don't think it's important. Right? That's an important thing. So a real glow up isn't loud. It is grounded on your core values and principles. It is the version of you that no longer needs chaos to feel alive. There's a lot of people I know that feel they've got to be chaotic to be able to live. And that's not true. That is not true, guys. You can be in peace and live an amazing life. I want to ask everyone something. First, if this episode spoke to you or resonated to you on any small or large level, I encourage you to make the choice and share it with someone who's rebuilding quietly. And when you do that and you share something of value with someone, you know what you're going to do? You're going to possibly create a bond. And that bond's going to become stronger. And I want to definitely invite you guys to please visit, and for more information, to visit believemeachieve.com. And this is where growth, clarity, purpose are available 24 hours a day. That means anytime. You could get up at 1 o'clock in the morning. You could download this stuff and listen to it when you're in your car. One of my friends used to we call it University on Wheels. Pretty cool, right? University on Wheels. Get it? And I think if you take as much time for your mental diet as you do for your physical diet, you will amaze yourself at the changes that are going to happen with you. People may not recognize you. They may not recognize you anymore. They're going to know something's different, but they're not going to be able to put their finger on it. They're not going to be able to put their finger on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, and I invite you to keep becoming, to staying curious, to asking questions in life, to not give up, to understand that we need to embrace uncomfortability, because when we do this, we learn. And when we learn, what happens, ladies and gentlemen? We grow. And when we grow, we become successful. And other people that see us becoming successful are going to want to hang around us. It's kind of how it works. I said before, no one ever wants to hang around or help anybody or the plane or get on that plane or the train or the boat or anything when it's still stationary. But they risk their lives to get on a moving plane, a train, a boat, because it's in motion, because it's successful. Be nice if those people actually helped. I remember one person saying, instead of just showing and throwing baby showers, we actually should throw business showers when people start new businesses. But a lot of people are too selfish. They don't want to help others. So I think that's a problem that we probably have to fix. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Have yourself a great evening, great rest of your day. Check out believemeachieve.com. And remember, the glow up starts from within when you choose to live an intentional life. Take care, everyone. We'll have a brand new master topic tomorrow on Saturday.